Hello, and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm Jason, your host, and today we have an exciting episode that's going to help you sound smarter and more confident when you speak English. And, of course, I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, Julia. How are you today, Julia?
Hey Jason, I'm doing great and I'm super excited about today's topic. I think this is something many English learners really want to improve, how to talk faster and still sound smart.
Absolutely. We often hear that fast talkers sound more intelligent, more confident, and even more persuasive. But is that always true? And more importantly, how can English learners speed up their speech without losing clarity?
That's a great question, Jason. A lot of learners hesitate to speak faster because they're afraid of making mistakes or not being understood, and some try to speak quickly but end up stumbling over their words. Today, we're going to break it all down and give you practical tips to improve both speed and clarity.
Exactly. By the end of this episode, you'll learn why speed matters, what mistakes to avoid, and how to practice talking faster in a natural and confident way. So, whether you're preparing for a job interview, a presentation, or just everyday conversations, this episode is for you.
And make sure to stick around until the end because we'll be sharing some powerful exercises that will instantly help you speak English faster.
All right, let's jump right into it. First, let's talk about the psychology behind fast talking. Why do people perceive fast talkers as smart? Let's find out. So, before we jump into the strategies for speaking faster, let's first talk about why fast talkers are often seen as smart. Julia, have you ever noticed that when someone speaks quickly, they seem more confident and knowledgeable?
Yes, definitely. There's actually a psychological reason behind this. When people talk fast, their speech flows smoothly, and they sound more sure of what they're saying. It gives the impression that they really know their stuff.
That's so true. In fact, research shows that people who speak quickly are often perceived as more persuasive and more intelligent. Think about it. Politicians, motivational speakers, and even TV hosts often talk fast. It keeps people engaged.
Exactly. And there's another interesting point. When someone speaks fast, our brains assume they aren't hesitating because they are confident in their knowledge. On the other hand, when someone speaks too slowly, it can sometimes make them sound unsure or less certain about their ideas.
Right. But here's something important. Talking fast alone doesn't make you smart. If you're speaking quickly, but without clear ideas or good pronunciation, people might just think you're rushing and not really making sense.
That's a great point. Speaking fast is only effective when combined with clarity. If someone talks super fast but mumbles or uses too many uhs and ums, it actually makes them harder to understand, not smarter.
Exactly. So, the key is to find the right balance. Talk fast enough to sound fluent and confident, but not so fast that you lose clarity. And that's what we'll help you with in this episode.
Yes. And let's not forget, speaking speed also depends on the situation. For example, in a business presentation or a debate, a faster pace can make you sound sharp and persuasive. But if you're giving instructions or explaining something complex, you might need to slow down a little to make sure your message is clear.
That's such a great point, Julia. So, now that we understand why speed matters, let's talk about something really important. Why many English learners struggle to speak fast. If you've ever tried to talk faster and ended up feeling nervous or making mistakes, don't worry. We're going to break it down for you. Ready, Julia?
Absolutely. Let's dive into the biggest challenges English learners face when trying to speak faster.
All right. Now that we understand why talking fast can make you sound smart and confident, let's talk about something really important. Why many English learners struggle to speak fast. Julia, what do you think is the #1 reason?
Great question, Jason. One of the biggest reasons is overthinking. Many English learners try to translate every word from their native language before speaking, and that slows them down.
Exactly. If your brain is busy translating, it's like driving with the handbrake on. You just can't move fast. That's why thinking directly in English is so important.
Yes, but I know it's easier said than done. If you're always thinking, what's the right word? Am I using the right grammar? You end up hesitating, and that slows down your speech.
That's true, and that actually leads to another problem. Fear of making mistakes. A lot of learners worry too much about being perfect, so they speak very slowly to avoid errors.
Exactly. But the truth is, mistakes are part of the learning process. When native speakers talk, they make mistakes too. They correct themselves, repeat words, and still keep going.
That's such an important point. If you focus too much on perfection, it can stop you from speaking fluently. Instead of worrying about every little mistake, focus on getting your message across.
Right, another challenge is pronunciation struggles. Some words in English are tricky, especially when they have difficult sounds or when two words blend together in fast speech.
Yes. For example, many learners struggle with contractions like gonna instead of going to, or wanna instead of want to. Native speakers use these all the time, which makes their speech faster and more natural.
That's a great example. If someone tries to pronounce every word perfectly, like, I am going to meet my friend later, it takes longer. But if they say, I'm going to meet my friend later, it sounds smoother and faster.
Exactly. And that brings us to another challenge: not knowing common phrases and sentence patterns. If you have to think about every word, you'll always be slow. But if you practice common phrases, you can say them automatically without thinking.
Yes, phrases like, I don't know, that sounds great, or let me think about it are used all the time in conversations. If you memorize these, you won't have to pause and search for words.
That's so true. And there's one more big reason learners struggle to speak fast: lack of practice with real conversations. If you only read or listen but don't practice speaking, your brain doesn't get used to forming words quickly.
Yes, speaking is like a muscle. You have to train it. If you only practice in your head but never out loud, it's going to be difficult to speak fast when you need to.
Exactly. So, to sum up, here are the main reasons learners struggle with speaking fast: overthinking, fear of mistakes, pronunciation struggles, not knowing common phrases, and lack of practice.
But don't worry. Up next, we're going to share some powerful techniques that will help you talk faster without losing clarity. Get ready for some practical tips that you can start using today.
That's right. So stay with us, because after this, we'll teach you how to talk fast and still sound smart. All right. Now that we know the challenges of speaking fast, let's get into the most exciting part: practical tips to help you talk faster while still sounding smart. Julia, where should we start?
Let's start with one of the most important things: thinking in English. We mentioned earlier that translating from your native language slows you down. So instead of forming sentences in your head before speaking, try to think directly in English.
That's a great tip. And one way to practice this is by describing what you see around you in English, even when you're alone. For example, if you're walking in the park, you can think, the sky is blue. That man is walking his dog. The birds are chirping. This helps train your brain to think in English naturally.
Yes, and here's another powerful technique: shadowing. This means listening to native speakers and repeating their words at the same speed. You can do this with podcasts, TV shows, or YouTube videos.
Oh, shadowing is amazing. It helps improve your speed, pronunciation, and rhythm all at the same time. A good way to do this is to pick a short clip, maybe 30 seconds, listen to it, and try to repeat it exactly like the speaker.
Exactly. At first, it might feel difficult, but if you keep practicing, you'll start to speak faster without thinking too much. It's like training your mouth to move quickly.
That's such a great method. Now, here's another tip. Use contractions and connected speech. Native speakers don't say every word separately. Instead of, I am going to eat lunch, they say, I'm going to eat lunch.
Yes, and this makes speaking faster much easier. If you practice these, your sentences will sound more natural, and you won't feel like you're struggling to say every word slowly.
Exactly. And another great way to speak faster is by using sentence patterns. Instead of creating new sentences every time, memorize common structures. For example, instead of thinking about how to say, "Can I have some water?" you can just remember the pattern, "Can I have?" and use it in different situations.
That's such a great tip. Some other useful patterns are, I think that, I'd like to, and let's. These phrases will help you speak faster because you don't have to think too much.
Absolutely. And here's another tip. Practice speaking out loud every day. Even if you don't have a speaking partner, you can record yourself, talk to yourself in the mirror, or even read aloud.
Yes, and if you want to make it fun, try setting a timer for 30 seconds and talk about a random topic as fast as you can. The goal is not to be perfect, but just to keep speaking without stopping.
That's a fantastic idea. And here's one last tip. Relax and trust yourself. If you're too worried about speaking perfectly, you'll slow down. Instead, focus on expressing your thoughts smoothly and with confidence.
Exactly. And remember, fast speech doesn't mean rushing. It's about speaking smoothly and naturally. So take your time to practice, and soon you'll see big improvements.
That's right. Now, before we wrap up, let's quickly summarize the top tips for speaking fast and sounding smart.
Sure, here they are. 1. Think in English instead of translating. 2. Use shadowing repeat after native speakers. 3. Practice contractions and connected speech to sound natural. Learn sentence patterns to speed up your response time. 5. Speak out loud every day, record yourself or talk to yourself. 6. Do timed speaking exercises to improve fluency. 7. Relax and trust yourself. Confidence is key.
Perfect. So, now that you have these tips, start practicing today. And coming up next, we'll share some fun exercises that will help you improve even faster.
Yes, stay with us because these exercises will take your English to the next level.
All right. Now that we've talked about practical tips, let's move on to some fun and effective exercises that will help you increase your speaking speed. Julia, what's the first exercise on our list?
One of the best exercises is the 30-second challenge. Here's how it works. You pick a topic, any topic, and talk about it for 30 seconds without stopping. The goal is not to be perfect, but to keep speaking even if you make mistakes.
I love this one. It forces you to think quickly and trains your brain to form sentences faster. And if 30 seconds is too easy, you can increase it to 1 minute or more.
Exactly. And to make it more fun, you can even record yourself and listen back to see where you hesitated or which words slowed you down.
That's a great idea. Now, another powerful exercise is shadowing, which we mentioned earlier. This time, let's go deeper into how to do it properly.
Right. So for shadowing, find a short clip of a native English speaker. It could be from a podcast, a movie, or even a YouTube video. Then, play a sentence and repeat it immediately, trying to copy the speaker's speed, rhythm, and pronunciation.
Yes, at first, it might feel difficult, but the more you do it, the more natural it becomes. And if you can't keep up, start with slower speakers and gradually increase speed as you improve.
That's a great tip. Now here's another fun exercise: speed reading aloud. Pick a short text like a news article or a book passage and read it out loud as fast as you can without losing clarity.
I love this one. It helps you get used to forming words quickly, and it also improves your pronunciation. Plus, if you practice reading fast, it becomes easier to speak fast in conversations too.
Exactly. And if you want to challenge yourself, set a timer for 1 minute and see how many words you can read clearly. Try to beat your record every day.
That's such a good idea. And speaking of challenges, here's another great one: the Think Fast, Speak Fast game. In this exercise, you or a friend gives a random word, and you have to immediately start talking about it for 10 to 15 seconds.
Oh, I love this. It forces you to react quickly, and it's a great way to train your brain to think in English instantly. Plus, it's a lot of fun, especially if you do it with a friend.
Exactly. And here's one more exercise: storytelling with a twist. Choose 3 random words and create a short story in 1 minute using those words. The goal is to keep speaking without pausing too much.
Oh, that sounds fun. And it's a great way to improve fluency because you have to connect your thoughts quickly. Plus, it helps you learn new vocabulary and context.
Absolutely. So, let's quickly review all the exercises. 1 30-second challenge. Talk non-stop for 30 seconds to train your brain. 2. Shadowing copy native speakers' speed and pronunciation. 3. Speed reading aloud. Read fast to improve fluency and pronunciation. 4. Think fast, speak fast. Respond quickly to random words. 5. Storytelling with a twist. Create short stories using 3 random words. If you practice these regularly, you'll see a huge improvement in your speaking speed and fluency.
Yes. And the best part? These exercises are fun and don't feel like traditional studying. So challenge yourself every day and watch your English speaking skills get faster and smoother.
That's right. And up next, we'll give you some final advice on how to sound smart while speaking fast. So, stay with us. All right, now that we've covered exercises to increase speaking speed, let's talk about something just as important: avoiding common mistakes when trying to talk fast. Julia, what's the first mistake learners make?
The first and biggest mistake is sacrificing clarity for speed. Many learners think that speaking fast means rushing their words or mumbling, but that's not true. If people can't understand you, then speaking fast doesn't help at all.
That's such a good point. Speed is important, but clarity comes first. If your words are clear, even if you speak quickly, people will understand you.
Exactly. So the key is to increase speed gradually while keeping your pronunciation clear. That way you train yourself to be both fast and understandable.
Right now, another mistake is using too many filler words like, like, or, you know. When people try to speak fast, they often panic and start using these words too much.
Yes, and too many filler words can make you sound less confident or even less intelligent. Instead, it's better to take a short pause if you need to think, rather than filling the silence with or
That's a great tip. A simple way to reduce filler words is to slow down just a little when you feel stuck, then continue speaking naturally.
Exactly. And speaking of slowing down, another mistake is not pausing at the right moments. When speaking fast, some learners forget to pause between sentences, making it hard to follow what they're saying.
That's so true. Think about how native speakers talk. Even if they speak quickly, they still pause to let important ideas sink in. A well-placed pause actually makes you sound smarter and more confident.
Right? So instead of speaking non-stop, practice pausing naturally, especially after key points or big ideas.
Great advice. Now, another mistake is ignoring intonation and rhythm. Some learners speak fast but sound flat and robotic because they don't use natural English rhythm.
Yes, English has a natural up and down melody. If you speak fast without rhythm, it can sound strange or even hard to understand. The trick is to keep your voice expressive while increasing speed.
Absolutely. So, let's quickly recap the common mistakes to avoid. Rushing words and losing clarity. Using too many filler words like or like not pausing at the right moments. Ignoring intonation and rhythm. If you can avoid these, you will sound fast, smart, and confident.
Yes, and remember, talking fast should never come at the cost of clarity, confidence, or natural flow.
Exactly. Up next, we'll share final tips on how to sound smart while speaking fast. Stay with us. Now that we've covered mistakes to avoid, let's talk about how to apply all of this in real life. Julia, what's the best way for English learners to practice speaking fast in daily life?
The key is consistent daily practice. Even just 10 to 15 minutes a day can make a big difference. One simple way is to think in English throughout the day. Instead of translating from your native language, train your brain to form sentences in English naturally.
That's a great tip. And to take it a step further, learners can narrate their actions out loud. For example, if you're cooking, say things like, "Now I'm chopping the onions." "Next, I will heat the pan." It forces you to think and speak quickly without overthinking.
Exactly. Another effective daily practice is voice journaling. Just record yourself talking about your day for 1 to 2 minutes, then listen back to see where you hesitated or which words slowed you down.
Oh, that's a great one. And for learners who are shy, this is a perfect way to practice speaking alone and track their progress over time.
Yes, and if they want to make it more interactive, they can join online English-speaking groups. Platforms like language exchange apps, social media groups, or even conversation clubs are great for practicing with real people.
That's true. The more you use English in real conversations, the more natural and faster your speech becomes. And if you don't have a speaking partner, try talking to AI chatbots or using speech-to-text apps to practice.
Good idea. And one of my favorite daily exercises is the speed drill challenge. Pick a short text, set a 1-minute timer, and read it as fast as possible without losing clarity. It's great for training both fluency and pronunciation.
I love that. And learners can do this with song lyrics, book passages, or even news articles to keep it interesting.
Exactly. And here's one final tip. Immerse yourself in fast English conversations. Listen to podcasts, TV shows, and YouTube videos where native speakers talk quickly. It will train your ears to process fast English naturally.
Yes, and if it feels too fast at first, use subtitles. Then, over time, try listening without them to challenge yourself.
Right. So let's quickly summarize daily ways to practice speaking fast. Think in English throughout the day. Narrate your actions out loud. Voice journaling record and listen to yourself. Join online speaking groups or practice with AI chatbots. Do speed reading drills for fluency. Immerse in fast English conversations through media. If learners practice these regularly, speaking fast will become natural and effortless.
Exactly. And coming up next, we'll share final tips on how to sound smart while speaking fast. Stay with us. Wow! We've covered so much today. From understanding why talking fast can make you sound smart to learning how to increase speed without losing clarity. We hope this episode has given you the tools to speak confidently and fluently.
Yes, just remember, speaking fast isn't about rushing your words, it's about being clear, confident, and natural. If you practice daily and apply the right techniques, you'll improve over time.
Absolutely. And now, we want to hear from you. What's your biggest challenge when it comes to speaking fast? Let us know in the comments or send us a message.
And if you found this podcast helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Also, check out our other podcasts for more tips on improving your English.
Thanks for tuning in, keep practicing, stay confident, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.
Bye everyone, keep speaking and keep learning.